So welcome once again. We are back working on the new Beetle, and this time what we're looking at is replacing a cam follower that operates the high pressure fuel pump. Don't know if you know, but on the 1.2s there is a slightly different place to what they are on the other engines. So we're going to replace that today to get rid of an awkward tapping noise. Sounds like a tap it off the cam, but I've been reliably informed that it's the one that's underneath the high pressure fuel pump. So let's take a look at where that is. So on this model, it's the TSI 1.2 version. It's inside there, so the actual pump locates inside, and then the cam follower with the roller on the bottom runs on the camshaft at the top, and that wears, and then eventually when it wears considerably you start getting a tapping noise. So you can't really tell which, or identify easily whereabouts it's coming from. So we're going to take off a few parts on here. One thing we've got to be aware of is this is high pressure. We've got a return there, so when we undo them two we are going to leak out a bit of fuel. So let's start by taking off a few bits and then see how we go. So we do have a connection there for the pump. That's probably the power one, and then we've got some bits underneath. So we need a couple of Torx bits for these. Not sure what size they are, but we'll get a couple of Torx bits into that. But we're going to loosen these two off first. So we're just going to crack open this a little bit. We should expect a little bit of pressure. Yep, we've got some leakage there, and then we'll do the bottom one. So they are now slack. So there's a little bit of pressure and a little bit of fuel spillage. So I'm now thinking about the carrier for the wiring, whether or not to remove that, because I'm not sure about that one coming out as well. I can't get to the clip at the back. It feels to be hidden underneath. Would have been nice if that would have been rotated round. I'm not sure whether or not we should rotate that round so we can gain access to that. So rotating that round means now I have got access to the release to take that off. Just going to put it back in place in case there's any fluid in that area. There we go. So next thing is the Torx bits. We'll take them two on, and we should be able to move the actual high pressure section and get down to the roller at the bottom. So the bolts I'm going to remove, they are a Torx multi-spline. I think it might be an M10, not sure. Now I am expecting, because we're on a compressed cam on a springer, I'm assuming it's going to spring in here, that's going to move upwards as we take this off. Yep, sure enough, what we've got is it's starting to move off itself, pushing upwards as I release this. So we now go, I don't know, probably about 5 or 6 mil there, and the pressure seems to be off. So we're assuming that it's not going to jump out at us. That back one's just a little bit more difficult to get to. And again, we've got about the same amount of room at the back as we have at the front. You can see it's drawing it off. I think it's compressed inside there. Still got a little play on that one, so I think what we may do is take that off completely. And again, a little bit of seepage on the fuel. So we're not going to take it off completely, that bit, we'll just leave it. We're going to leave the return attached because occasionally it is difficult to get these back into place. Now that feels like it's come all the way off. Just the back one ticket. Again, we've still got a bit of pressure there on the pump. There we go. This is one we don't want to lose. There we go. So that's the other one out. So taking a closer look, you can see that spring is going to compress and the spring's going to make it go in and out, and that's going to effectively move the pump. Down in the hole, look down here, we should be able to feel the cam follower that we're after. It's a little bit difficult to get out. There we go. And there we go. So that's the culprit, so we've been told. We've been told that the end of that wears on the inside of this, although looking at that it doesn't look too bad. The roller seems to be okay as well, doesn't seem to have any markings on it, but that looks to be in decent condition. You can see we've got a little groove on the side there, a race section, and that's so that you can only put it back in one place. So we'll take a look at the cam surface and see what that looks like. And unfortunately we're not going to get a good view of that, but you may be able to see the cam just shining bit there. The surface feels okay, so as I run my fingers across, it doesn't feel like it's got any scarring or any grooves in it, so that looks like it's going to be, hopefully, the cure. So let's take a look at what we've got from the dealer. So from the dealer we've got the correct part number, a little bit on the expensive side. I've seen these for sale anything from £20 upwards, but from the dealer we are looking at 56. Doesn't look much different to the original, but once we open it up we'll see if there's any differences. So height wise, there's a slight difference in height. Don't know if you can see that at the top. If I put the tops together, you can see at the bottom there we've got a slight difference in height. So whether or not that's going to be anything, I don't know. Internally you can see we've got a difference there. So on the newer updated version we've got a section there that feels to be pressed in. It's located there, and on our original one it's just completely flat. So whether or not this is going to help with oiling to reduce the wear, I'm not sure. Roller size, well, roller size looks to be identical. There's a little bit difference in shape, but apart from that I think they are very similar. So I put a little bit of oil in the cap and just coating it all, so obviously it'll minimize any wear by coating it. So putting this in means we can only put it in one way. There's a little groove at the top, so that'll go with the little spigot that's on the side. And we're all the way down towards the cam again. So it should now be able to put this back in. So use the same box to pull it in. A little bit of pressure required to push it down. Again, not losing that back one. So we pull it in equally. There will be a torque setting for these, but unfortunately we don't seem to be able to get a manual for this model. So now we're just going to start hooking things back up. So I'm trying to get this bar constant with everything that runs across. I think it were a little bit off. So that for now means that we've replaced that cam follower and hopefully we'll have got rid of that noise. So you can probably just about hear the tapping noise that we were referring to. Here down we've got the alternator. Towards this area we were told that it was going to be the cam follower in there that was making the noise. So unfortunately we've replaced the cam follower and we've still got the noise. So it now means that we may have to replace the fuel pump. So does your engine sound like this? So if your engine sounds like this, leave me a comment as to whether or not this is what it should sound like when it's on tick over. So as you can see, replacing that part is relatively easy, but it didn't cure the problem. So the next thing is the high pressure fuel pump. We're also going to have someone check out the tappets. The car's now done about 80,000 miles. It may be that some of this noise is tappet noise, so maybe clearance on the tappets. So hopefully you've learned a little bit more on our journey today, and we'll see you next time. Bye for now.